he gonna give me a signal?
Hey, how are you doing?
You should be ready to go now.
Okay.
No.
Good evening for everyone who's watching our meeting online. This is the combined work session and a regular monthly meeting for the Newton County Board of Education for the month of April. Please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Chair, I need to make a motion to amend the agenda.
Okay, Ms. Coggin would like to amend the agenda. Go ahead.
Due to the COVID-19, I'd like to amend the agenda so that we have no public participation this evening.
Okay. Ms. Coggin would like to amend the agenda due to COVID-19. We do not have public participation. Is there a second for the amendment?
Second.
Okay, it's been seconded by Mr. Bailey. All in favor? Aye. Okay, very good. 4-0. Thank you. The new agenda has been amended. May I have approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 4-0. Thank you. The minutes. May I have approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved by Ms. Coggin. Is there a second for the minutes?
Second.
Okay, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 4-0. Thank you. Superintendent's reports.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Madam Superintendent. Financial report, the special purpose local option for education sales tax, DSPLOST 5 distribution for February was $1,039,907, which is a decrease of $67,586 from the previous month. The title ad valorem tax collection for February was $385,998, and expenditures were within budget with 71.34% of funds expended, with 75% of the fiscal year complete. And the board financials for March are there for your review. That is the financial report, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Barr. You can go ahead with the next report.
Okay, in the strategic plan report, student achievement and success, the state science fair was held in a virtual format this year. Students were asked to create a 10-minute video about their projects to submit to the judging panel. Sydney Mealer earned 4th place for her project concerning the effect of barge emissions on cancerous cell growth using a simulation with yeast cells and ethylene glycol. In high-quality workforce, the technology team has worked to ensure that students are connected to teachers and that teaching and learning continues system-wide. Between March 21 and March 31, 15 district-wide instructional technology trainings were offered on Canvas, Discovery Education, G Suites, Microsoft Collaboration Tools, Flipgrid, Book Creator by the instructional technology team. Each day, over 500 teachers, administrators, paraprofessionals, and central office staff attended these training sessions. In addition to district trainings, the team has conducted 9 school-wide Canvas trainings via WebEx. In culture, climate, and communication, Family Support Services personnel and Al Covey High School presented Sources of Strength Day on March 2nd, 2020. The theme of the day was Spreading Hope, Health, and Strength. Organizational and operational effectiveness. Work continues at the new Eastside High School. Mass grading for the east parking lot, Loop Drive, and Highway 142 access road have been completed. Additionally, the mass grading required for both the upper and lower building pads is finished. The foundation wall footings for the lower building pad have been completed. And you have additional information relative to the construction update. The system-wide security camera upgrade project is ongoing. Cabling is complete at 21 schools, and camera installation is complete at 17 schools. And I just wanted to share a little bit of information with you relative to the community meal program. Through April 24th, the school system has distributed 77,040 meals We began serving meals to children in the community on March 17th at 5 schools. During our first full week of operation, March 23rd through 27th, we served 14,626 meals at 9 sites. Last week, April 20th through 24th, we served a total of 23,170 meals, a breakfast and lunch meal every day of the week, including Saturday and Sunday, at 6 schools, 11 bus stops, 4 sites operated in partnership with Action Ministries, and 1 site operated in partnership with Bethlehem Baptist Church, a total of 22 sites. This week, we added an additional bus stop location, and in partnership with the Newton County Board of Commissioners, through an allocation of $10,000 in Action Ministries, the school system is distributing super PACs at one of our schools. The site became operational Monday, and 225 super PACs were distributed. And the super PAC contains several non-perishable items for students and serves as a complement to our ongoing meal program. Last week, the school system school nutrition program received a donation from T-Mobile of $10,000 to help support our effort to feed the community. We're very grateful for that. Every department in the operations division has been involved in this, and I'm appreciative of their work. Several of you are also very active in feeding folks in the community, and I appreciate what y'all are doing very much also. And just finally, I wanted to thank Dr. Thomas and Dr. Fowle and all the folks in technology for making sure that our technology deployment has gone very smoothly. And that concludes the strategic plan report, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. You can go ahead and go with enrollment report, and then we'll do all of the questions at the end. We'll move them all forward together.
Okay. As of April 15th, there are 19,376 students enrolled as compared to 19,717 in April 2019. And that completes the enrollment report and all of the superintendent's reports.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Barr. May I have a motion to move the superintendent's reports forward, please?
So moved.
Been moved by Mr. Bailey. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Coggan. Is there any discussion about any of the reports presented?
Just a comment.
Okay.
I just want to thank Dr. Barr and Ms. Fury and the whole team for this work and helping keep our students fed. I know it's a huge endeavor. It's something that was very difficult to put together. And I do think it was a community-wide approach, but I think the school system has led the way in it, and extremely grateful. And also just open to ideas. Was able to kind of talk about using some buses to get some meals to the right places where kids weren't able to get to the drop-off locations. And anyway, it just seems like a really incredible team effort, and just super grateful for their work.
Yes, it's been very easy to work with the community folks in setting it up, and we continue to, as we receive calls and requests, to try to serve those areas of need also. So it continues to grow every day.
I did what Mr. Bailey said. Also adding to that, the technology deployment too. I've been looking at the pictures on Twitter and stuff, and the employees, people, you have to think about it. You kind of take a risk when you go out by yourself to volunteer. So thank you to those that have been taking that risk, not only to make sure that our students are prepared, but, risking your health at the same time. So thank you. Okay. All right. So that's the discussion. All in favor for superintendent report, let me hear you say aye. Okay, no opposed, 4-0. We don't have any old business. We'll move on to new business. Item A.
In item A, the superintendent recommends the approval of the purchase of an online curriculum service from News to You for students with disabilities in accordance with their individualized education programs for the remainder of the 2019-20 school year and the 2021 school year. The district, as background, the district is responsible for obtaining, providing, or arranging the provision of special education services as determined by the IEP. Students requiring an alternative curriculum and assessment will receive standards-based curriculum specifically designed so that students with special needs can access the general education curriculum. This deals with Strategic Goal Area 1, Student Achievement and Success, and the funding source is outlined there for you. So that is item A
Okay.
for consideration.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Barr. May I have a motion for item A, please?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
moved and second. Any discussion or questions about item A? Okay, having none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 4-0. Thank you. Item B.
In item B, the superintendent recommends the approval of the system portion of the 2021 elementary student handbook. Additions have been noted in blue and deletions in red. There are really no changes to the law that require changes to our student handbook, so there are very few. And those are identified there for you, the most notable ones. This deals with Strategic Goal Area 1, Student Achievement and Success, and Strategic Goal Area 3, Culture, Climate, and Communication. And that is item B, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Item B is for the elementary handbook revisions. Is there a motion to move it forward, please?
So moved.
Okay, been moved by Ms. Coggan. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bailey. Any discussion or questions?
Just a quick question,
Go ahead, Mr. Bailey.
and this will relate to both this one and the secondary handbook, item C. In there, we post a calendar, a school calendar. I don't know the timeline in which we have to print these, but would it be beneficial for us to not print the school calendar, just in case there are any changes from the federal or the state government, and then creating a page or something we add in later, or we, send out the first day of the year, just to keep from having to either send out and have everybody have wrong data, or scrap it and redo it?
That's a good point.
Yeah. That's a good point. We can do whatever we want. We can take it out altogether and then send something. We've done it before where we've had to send something later on, once the decisions have been made. So I don't have a problem with that at all. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I do too. And for those who are watching, not to scare y'all, but
Right.
just the case. So, yeah, I think
It's
that's
to better steward your dollars.
right.
Any idea as to what the time frame we're talking about, once we find a better date, if you will, timetable, as to when we'll get that back? It won't be during the school year, would it?
The handbooks, you mean?
Well, the revision, the calendar.
The calendar has already been done, and so we're proposing, we're working on 3 different calendar versions depending upon what restrictions are placed upon us by the state. So if we can go back to school, we'll go back on August the 3rd as planned. If not, we have different start dates depending upon where we go from there. And as soon as we have that information, we'll be able to put it out there. So I don't know exactly when.
Okay.
We just have them in our pocket in case we need them.
Okay, well, then the calendar in here is an old calendar.
It is.
That's
They
correct.
usually replace it.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
Yeah, they don't put it in there.
So we're not going to publish a recommendation, not to publish a calendar in the handbooks?
Yes, we'll take the calendar out of the handbook. You've already approved the calendar for next school year.
Correct.
Which has us start on August the 3rd. That is the plan that we would like to go with. However, we also recognize there are circumstances beyond our control. And so I like to have a plan and not need it, than not have a plan and need one. So we are proposing and working on additional calendar recommendations because I cannot change the calendar, only you can. So I would have to make a recommendation to you, and then you would, decide which calendar you wanted, and then we would go from there. I wish and hope that we will go back to school on August the 3rd as planned.
Let me ask it again. What's the drop date to go forward with this?
I don't know when it has to be put in there.
I don't know, there's a timeline,
Quickly,
but,
yeah.
yeah,
Usually they do it now, and then by the first week of May, he's sending the materials on to the company because we want them to be back and distributed in July. Usually they go to the service center, and then they're ferreted out from there. So, Mr. Johnson, I'm going on my past recollection, and I think it usually goes within the next 10 days to the publisher.
Okay.
So let me repeat a couple of things that you said, Ms. Fury,
Yes.
for those that may be watching, because questions are going to come because they may have heard something differently. So I want to clarify what you stated. Okay, so first of all, as of now, the plan is to go back to school on August 3rd. However, due to circumstances beyond our control, if that does not happen or cannot happen, you guys are currently working on options and looking at it. Those options are not available just yet. You are currently working on those options and looking at those options. Once those options are outlined, and once we know whether or not August 3rd is a no-go, you will present that calendar to the board. The board has to approve which option, one of the options before them. Just wanted to, because somebody is going to say,
Right.
we already know the date. So I just wanted to
We do
make
not-
sure that it's clear.
Yeah. We
And I
do
didn't want
not-
anybody to be confused with the questioning and
Absolutely,
the
that's a
dialogue.
great point. We do not know the date. Our date for go is August 3rd, but it would be not a good thing for us not to plan.
Right,
for
you're
contingencies.
preparing.
And so that's what we're doing.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we are still on item B. May I have a vote for item B? So all in favor, let me hear you say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, 4-0. Item C,
In item C, the superintendent recommends the approval of the system portion of the 2021 secondary handbook, and that is item C for consideration this evening. Basically the same changes as elementary.
okay, thank you, Dr. Barr. Item C is the same changes as the elementary handbook, however, this is for secondary. May I have a motion to approve item C?
So moved.
Been moved by Mr. Bailey, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussions? Having none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 4-0. Thank you. Item D.
In item D, the superintendent recommends the acceptance of proposals for internet access and internal connections needed for the school system as listed in the summary there for your review. The total cost of all system-wide expenses and projects is $1,172,258, of which $937,806.40 would be reimbursed by E-rate, leaving the remaining cost of $234,451.60 to the school system. These figures are based on the completion of all desired projects by the school system and full funding by the E-rate program. E-rate is a federal government program designed to fund affordable access to advanced telecommunications in schools to the classroom level. E-rate is prioritized with internet access being the top priority, followed secondarily by internal connections and basic maintenance. And that is related to Strategic Goal Area 1, Student Achievement and Success, and Strategic Goal Area 4, Organizational and Operational Effectiveness. That is item D.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Barr. Item D. May I have a motion to move it forward?
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Bailey. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Coggan. Any discussion?
Another quick question. I'm sorry I didn't get with you ahead of time, but just as far as, I know a lot of this work, well, some of this work will go in the new Eastside facility.
That's right.
So will the funding source be the same, the capital
Mhm.
2021 funding?
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
Just making
What
sure.
the difference would be the capital funds.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or discussions for item D? Okay, having none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 4-0. Item E.
In item E, the superintendent recommends the approval of the emergency purchase of Wi-Fi mobile hotspots from Khajiit of Bethesda, Maryland. The total cost is $330,117.14. The school system will utilize a contract managed by the Lakes Country Service Cooperative, a national purchasing cooperative, to procure the hotspots. This relates to Strategic Goal Area 1, Student Achievement and Success, and Strategic Goal Area 4, Organizational and Operational Effectiveness. And that is item E.
Okay, item E is for the mobile hotspots that were distributed due to COVID-19. Is there a motion to move it forward?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion, questions?
Just making the numbers line up. The 330 is the total,
The second invoice is missing.
okay.
It's
all right.
not in the document, so we'll upload it.
Yeah, we don't have it yet.
Excellent, okay. Just wanted to make sure I was
Yep.
dotting my i's and crossing
Yeah.
my t's.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion or questions? Having none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 4-0. Item F.
Item F, the superintendent recommends the approval of the emergency purchase of Chromebook protective sleeves from Howard Technology Solutions of Laurel, Mississippi. The total cost is $72,800. Howard Technology Solutions provided the lowest cost for the sleeves. This deals with Strategic Goal Area 1, Student Achievement and Success, and that is item F, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion for item F, that's the sleeves for the Chromebooks that were given out?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved in second. Any discussion? I do have a question about this. So with the protective sleeves, because the technology is a loaner technology, the students, was it in the contract there, they understand to keep those sleeves on?
Yeah.
To take, yes, in the contract to take care of all the equipment that they've been issued. I think it mentions specifically the sleeve and the charging and all that, charging equipment.
All the
and that kind of
pieces,
stuff.
yeah.
Okay, I just didn't want it not to be mentioned and somebody remove the sleeve and then it get damaged, and it could have been something that we could have mentioned in the contract, like to please make sure you keep this on at all times. Okay, all right. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 4-0, thank you. Item G,
In item G, the superintendent recommends the annual renewable contract for an integrated business solution within the Transportation Department awarded to Genuine Parts Company of Atlanta, Georgia, be renewed for an additional contract period. The effective date will be April 29, 2020, and the expiration date will be April 28, 2021. The estimated contract value is $1,789,000. The Napa Integrated Business Solution provides the school system with a complete turnkey management for all parts needed, related supplies and services. The in-house store, which currently has an inventory valued at approximately $309,000, was custom tailored to the vehicles which constitute the school system fleet. Parts are purchased on a just-in-time basis. Formerly, we would have had to purchase the parts ourselves, hold them in inventory, be subject to those carrying costs and any obsolete stock. The school system is utilizing a state of Georgia contract for Napa to provide the aforementioned services. All parts and supplies pricing is at a discounted rate, averaging approximately 12%. And then there for your review is some of those items that we purchase and the savings associated with those. In summary, the benefits from the utilization of this program include eliminating the carrying cost of inventory, reducing transaction expenses, increased shop productivity, elimination of obsolete stock, professional development opportunities, and overall reduction in operational expenditures. Napa currently operates over 250 such operations nationwide, including Fulton, Clayton, DeKalb, and Cobb County school systems. Those are just the ones here in the metro Atlanta area. This deals with Strategic Goal Area 4, organizational and operational effectiveness, and the funding source is outlined in the recommendation. And that concludes item G, Madam Chair.
okay, thank you, Dr. Barr. Item G, may I have a motion to move it forward, please?
So moved.
Been moved by Mrs. Coggin,
Second.
second by Mr. Bailey. It's open for discussion or questions. Any discussion or questions regarding item G?
I have a statement to make.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
I'm reluctant to ask any questions on this particular recommendation because I have not been successful in getting answers for the past 2 or 3 years on this particular request. So therefore, I won't waste my time asking a question because fundamentally, I don't think it is sound as presented. And I'll just leave it at that. I am not in favor of such moving of this recommendation.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions? Okay. We will call for a vote for item G, which is the renewal of the contract for integrated business solution parts for the school buses. So all in favor of this, let me hear you say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
3-1. Motion passes. Item H.
In item H, the superintendent recommends the identified items be declared surplus and disposed of per board policy, and that is item H, Madam Chair.
Okay. Item H. May I have a motion to move it forward, please?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, it's been moved in second. This is the surplus property the school system is giving back to go to surplus. So, any discussion or questions? Okay, having none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 4-0. Item I.
In item I, the superintendent recommends the approval of personnel matters as discussed in executive session.
Okay. Item I, superintendent's recommendations. May I have a motion, please?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Okay, been moved and second. I'll do Coggan Johnson. Coggan for the movement, and then Mr. Johnson for the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 4-0 on the superintendent's recommendations. Other matters of interest? Anybody have any other matters of interest? I just want to thank all our frontline workers, all our healthcare workers, all the people volunteering again, all of our parents who are becoming educators at home. Thank you. And then all of the teachers as well for being so flexible. I know this is difficult, especially if you are a teacher and have children in your household because you're having to teach your class and assist your children at the same time. Please understand, this is beyond our control, but we do thank you. And remember, the only thing you can control are the things that you can, and the things that you can't, you just have to ask and allow for grace to keep your sanity. So, but thank you so much for all that you guys are doing.
Ms. Henderson Baker. Just a point of information. We continue to work on our frequently asked questions document, and we are waiting to hear what happens at the state level with shelter in place so that people are asking about, can they get into the schools to get their things? And unfortunately, right now, that's not possible. But as soon as we get the information from the state about where we are going with shelter in place and it's permissible, we'll work out a schedule for people to go into the buildings to get the things that belong to them. We are also working on things leading up to the beginning of the next school year, and as soon as all that's available, we will post it and share it with our parents. We want everybody to know what's going on, but we are really working within the structures of the health departments, the Georgia Department of Health, and the Georgia Department of Education and the governor's office in an effort to make sure that we are following those guidelines as we try to meet the needs of our parents and our students to collect things. And we are working on our virtual graduation program. Students do not go to the virtual graduation. It's set up in a way that the class president, the student government president, the valedictorian, the salutatorian will be individually videoed for their speeches, and then we have pictures of our graduates who will be going across the screen with their names under their pictures. And so it was brought to my attention by a parent that they thought that they had to come to some place for the virtual graduation, and they do not. However, we are planning for an in-person graduation on August the 1st. And if we have a change in location, as soon as we know, we'll let everybody know with that. But the time frame, we'll post the time frames for our YouTube video. So it's a pre-recorded virtual program, and then each school will have its own time slot on May 23rd, Saturday, May 23rd. And I don't want to tell you the time slots because I don't have them committed to memory, but they are throughout the day on May 23rd. And then they'll be forever captured in YouTube, and parents can go see them at any given point in time. And so I think that's, for right now, where we are, and then we'll, as soon as we have additional information. A parent did ask about promotion from 5th grade to 6th grade and from 8th grade to 9th grade. And the schools are working on some individual things that they'd like to do to recognize those students who are transitioning grade spans. So stay tuned for more information about that.
I've got a question about graduation. I've gotten several, in fact, one tonight while we're sitting here. Is there a possibility that if we open back up, that we can have a physical graduation earlier than August 1st? Is that even a thought on our?
It has not been.
Okay. Well, if you don't mind, like I said, I just had someone that messaged me that asked if that would be something we would consider. But again, I understand, and they
Yeah.
understand that
Yeah.
we've got the shelter in place and just depends, but.
Yeah, the
And-
president's opening up of America Plan, Phase 1, 2, and 3. I mean, we're just now going into Phase 1.
Right.
So I think large groupings of people are in Phase 3, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll be August 1st.
It'd probably be
officially.
August, I
Yeah.
think so too, but
Yeah.
just want to make
and-
sure it's
and
out there.
I want parents to know that, I mean, we didn't take this stuff lightly. I mean, we recognize how how disappointing it is for our seniors. I mean, I actually wrote a letter to the seniors, and I actually spoke to them at one of our board meetings, only because I understand how traumatizing it is to go your whole life and then this is what it ends with, virtual graduation. And then waiting until August the 1st to actually have an in-person graduation. And parents were concerned too about, it's in the high schools, it's in their gym, so how many tickets are we going to get? And so we've thought through all of those pieces, and we're still not done thinking through those pieces. August 1st is the date where we landed. We figured that we would be less likely to have to reschedule it on August the 1st than in June or July. If something changes, we certainly could go back and revisit, but if we were to have the graduations in the venues that we selected originally, I think that will be real hard for us to make that transition, at least not right now.
Right.
But we care about our kids. We love them just, as much as their parents do, and we want them to be successful and to have the experiences that their parents had and that we probably all had in this room. And so there are lots of ideas that we're working on to even think about them on into the future and things that we might do to maybe bring them back and have a one-year reunion where all of the kids come back and we host that event for them. So we're thinking and trying to, and we accept ideas. So if people have ideas, we're wide open for ideas and really consider every single one that we get. Just like the idea from the parent who reached out to us and said, what about 5th grade and 8th grade? Truthfully, we weren't really thinking about 5th grade and 8th grade. We were really concerned about
The seniors.
the seniors. And so then when the parents said, well, what about those children? We're like, yes, we love them too. So how are we going to work that out? And
Right.
so that's why it takes all of us to be able to share and have dialogue and so we can get where we need to be for our kids.
Yeah.
So
Let
It's
me
greatly
add
appreciated.
something. Yeah, let me add something too. I forgot to thank, and I had wrote it down, but I didn't flip my paper over. But I want to thank some students too. So first, I want to recognize a student at Newton High School in the Alana's program named Mott Smith. I want to recognize her for creating this Covington, Newton Rockdale version of Adopt a Senior. In less than a couple of days, it had over 1,000 members, and now it has like bukus of members. She is a senior, a 2020 graduate, going to Spelman College. I read a little bit about her, and I think she wants to become a writer, if I'm not mistaken. But just the creation, wow, you are an innate humanitarian. To be able to come up with that for your peers, where people could go on and adopt a senior to encourage them, to help them get some items they need and stuff. And I know I think it kind of got overwhelming for her because it says Newton Rockdale, but then I'm seeing people from Florida and Arkansas and stuff. So I think everybody just wants to be a part of it. So kudos to you, Mott Smith. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And then 3 of our students who got their congressional appointment to go to West Point will be featured on Fox 5 with Paul Milliken. They have their interview Friday, and so he does not know exactly when the story will come out. He said sometime next week, depending on how much editing he has to do. But kudos to the community. I want to thank my brother for that, for, just people in the community trying to find ways to recognize the students and thinking about these seniors really, unfortunately, they're missing out on a lot of celebrations. So kudos to everybody who's coming up with something and saying, well, let me see if I can do this to help and stuff. So I really do appreciate that. But, it just shows how, how our community comes together. And then with Mott Smith, how talented our students are. That is just wonderful. So
we've got amazing, amazing students. We've got fabulous teachers who are killing it. Going from being a face-to-face environment to a digital environment and doing it almost overnight, even though we thought we were prepared, we just didn't know that we needed to be more prepared than we were. And teachers are out there, attending professional development in order to sharpen their skills and to learn different things and different ways to reach our kids. And then you've got district office employees and service center employees. Everybody in our school system, our school nutrition team, our bus drivers, everybody is working so hard to ensure that our school system feels like normal.
Yeah.
Even though we all know that is far from normal right now. So we appreciate you guys because you've made it easy for us to make some decisions, like trying to get computers out. I mean, it was boom, get it done. And I have to say that that's doesn't always happen everywhere. So I appreciate the support that you guys provide our school system and the direction and guidance that you give us as we navigate these very muddy waters as we move forward. So thank you all. We're very fortunate to be in an environment in a school system that has the number of dedicated people who work in our environment. It's really fantastic.
Okay. All right, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned, 7:38 PM.
Thank you.
Mhm.